I want to be respectful of time. But if we don't get more members soon, we won't be able to approve the minutes or anything like that. But we can at least discuss the upcoming health fair and any other concerns. So would like to start with a roll call. I'll just call your name and you could um introduce yourself and state whether you are a committee member or a board member or just a community member. So, Ms. Reed, please go ahead.
Good night, everyone. My name is Janice Reed, and I am a CB17 board member and committee member. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McMillan?
I am Gail McMillan, committee member.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Friesdat?
Member of the public. We live in District 17.
Great. Thank you very much and welcome. So for the chairperson's report, the main thing is that we, as mentioned last week, last month, we have a date for the social services health fair, which is going to be on April 20th at the district office. We've had a little bit of conversation about planning, but we have, just under 60 days to solidify the planning for that. So that's really what we're focusing on for the next couple of months. There's still the news of the partial closure at SUNY Downstate, and there's been a lot of conversation about that. So if any specific information comes to me, I will share it with this committee and with the community overall. And that's our report. Oh, Marcella, hi. Thanks for joining. Please introduce yourself to the group.
Hi, yeah, sorry I'm late. I'm Marcela Flores, just a resident of the community. I'm trained as a scientist and I just have a passion for health and wellness.
Amazing. Thank you. Thanks for joining. So does anyone have any new business to bring to the committee?
I do. I was the one who organized and sort of did the publicity for the litter cleanup that we had last year. And we would really like to get it going again. So I know we don't want to compete with the energy needed for the health fair, but maybe we could organize it for, the month or months following. We had set it up as a monthly event. I think to happen on either the third or the fourth Saturday of the month. And we had a fair amount of excitement about that, but we didn't have enough support from the sanitation committee itself. We had a fair amount of enthusiasm from residents, but I think now it seems like we have a new administration here at the sanitation committee. So we wanted to come back and see if it was something that you might be excited about. We also wanted to plant, we have 3 cherry blossom shoots that we wanted to try to get planted at Church and Nostrand. They could grow into full cherry blossom trees. So those were points of new business that we're hoping you could incorporate at your at your convenience. Thank you.
Yes, of course. So I did get your email and I forwarded it to the district manager. We're happy to support, but the litter cleanup is usually run specifically by the sanitation committee, and this is social services, which is a little bit different. So I forwarded it to the district manager and asked her to connect you with the sanitation department. If we want to roll the litter cleanup in between both committees, happy to do so. I do think neighborhood cleanliness and stuff is a part of overall social services, but I don't want to like usurp what is technically sanitation's wheelhouse, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm sorry. I think I got, just mixed up between the committees, but I do think that maybe like rolling it, like collaborating between 2 committees might help. I think we just needed more support than we were getting from the sanitation committee. So I think that's a good idea.
Okay, yeah, no problem, and nothing to apologize for. There was like a committee sort of renaming and reshuffling near the end of last year, so roles switched up a little bit. Completely understandable, and I'm definitely amenable to sharing the load of supporting. When you say, I know you mentioned that you had support from the community, but didn't necessarily feel like you had support from the community board. What kind of support do you feel like was missing?
I think the board actually was pretty excited about it. They really loved the poster that we made. It was really vibrant with flowers, and we had a lot of input, like a lot of support from the elected officials. Many of them signed on, Assemblymember Rodney's Bichot Hermelin and some of the other assembly members and council members. So there was a lot of, I feel like, support um, at the district level within the actual sanitation committee. I think it was a little bit more fraught with sort of some members there feeling like they didn't want to be like responsible for cleaning up other people's garbage. I think people can feel like it's a burden. Whereas I think the people who organized the litter cleanup and were excited about it weren't thinking like, oh, I'm cleaning up other people's garbage. It's just more like I'm beautifying my neighborhood. I'm creating an environment that I want to live in and feel good in. So it was kind of, I think, maybe a different perspective, like about the event itself. So we did it once. It was a lot of work. We organized it in about, I think, 7 different locations all over the district, which was really cool. We cleaned up a lot of garbage. The streets looked fantastic. But I think going back to the committee after that, we didn't have the feeling that they would want to do it like monthly. So that's why we just sort of put a pause on it, like you said, until there was sort of maybe a new administration or people who, where we felt we could connect with people who were more excited about it.
Got it. Okay, so I will start a thread between myself and the sanitation chair and you, and we can discuss like the best way to move forward. And then can see, what kind of participation we can get from other community board members as well as community members.
I think that's great. And I know we have a friend in Joan Bacradin. I don't know if you know her, but
Yep.
She's and I have like really bonded on litter cleanup, and I know we are of the same heart. And so I do think that there are people in the district who are strong leaders and who will help.
Okay, I am taking note of that now. And your email was hi@sugarworks.
That is me, yes. That's my company, Sugarworks.
Got it. Okay.
Sorry to take up the committee's time with this because I know you wanted to get to the health fair, but I really do appreciate it.
No problem. Appreciate you for attending and bringing this up. I think it's important. Okay, so that is community cleanup. Is there any other new business anyone would like to bring up? Okay, hearing none. We can move on to old business, which would be the health fair. So a few weeks ago, after our January meeting, we didn't have a ton of attendance. So I sent out another call for participation, got a few respondents, and Marcella and I got together to start brainstorming ideas for the health fair and get to work on making some plans. So I reached out to the district manager, and she has us set up in front of the district office. We don't need a street permit. We'll mostly be on the sidewalk around the what's it called? The district office. Apologies, y'all. It's late. losing my words. So we're set up for the sidewalk, and we've reached out to several different agencies that have participated in previous health fairs, like breast cancer awareness. I reached out to the New York Blood Center and have a call with them this week to see if we can have a blood donation truck arriving, and just other general city agencies that typically participate in health fairs. We also have some t-shirts, social services committee t-shirts, or they're polo shirts actually, that are already in the district office. So that's something that committee members can wear if you're able to attend, just to help give people information. And then Marcella had come up with a good number of like interesting ideas that I thought would just make the event more engaging. So Marcella, if you'd like to share what you thought of and what you've worked on so far, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So as part of my day job, I end up talking to a lot of physicians in the neighborhood. So I've also been asking them what they thought their number one suggestion for the health fair is. Montserrat, I didn't get a chance to tell you that, but what I think Montserrat is referring to is so I thought of maybe engaging children through a scavenger hunt or some sort of child activity, maybe bingo. Have them go around to different tables and fill out a bingo card, and then they get, a prize that would have to be purchased. I think it was actually you, Montserrat, that thought of some sort of fitness class, and I did reach out to one of the local jujitsu schools here. I attended one of his cardio boxing classes. He's on Nostrand and Tilden, and he's of the community too. So that's cool. He is very interested in participating in the health fair. He thought that he could do it on the street, no problem, and that he has some equipment that would be amenable to a cool class. I attended a health fair once that had a breast cancer screening that was really, really highly attended. They filled up for the day. Some of the physicians in the neighborhood think that having a sugar, like a blood glucose station measuring blood glucose would be really important, as well as checking for hypertension, etc. Did I miss anything, Montserrat?
Sorry,
Well-
I could not find my unmute button. No, I think that is comprehensive of what we discussed and sounds good. So want to open the floor if anyone has any thoughts on what we discussed or any other ideas for things that we can incorporate into the health fair.
There's a few gyms in the neighborhood. We could ask different gyms to offer a, free 3-day pass or something like that. Most of them have at least like a 1-day pass that they offer anyway, so probably wouldn't be a big deal. I know there's a Crunch on Flatbush, and I'm a member of Planet Fitness over on Church Avenue, so there's at least 2 that I know we could ask.
I love that idea. Write that down.
This is Ms. Reed. Had you reached out to any of the local hospitals to see if they're members are participating?
Oh, I did actually. So again, through part of my day job, I did reach out to Kings County, and they had been working on a flyer, an informational flyer, and they gave me a name and an address to write to them, and that they would provide the flyers and possibly have a table. I wrote it down in the sheet somewhere. I'm sorry, it's escaping me exactly what the content of the flyer was, but it's relevant. And if you just give me a minute to find it, I'll let you know.
I think the recommendation you might want to get the flyer from the committee flyer that not necessarily lists the hospitals, but the what you're actually offering. There should be a flyer from the last one that was done in 2022, and also to a list of all the vendors. It should be housed in one of the admins in the board office of all the vendors, so you can start, sending out letters to those vendors and see if they're members participating. I mean, they've
Yes.
used in front of the we've done health fairs in front of the board office in the past. So I mean, they set up their tables, and they go from around the entrance all the way back to on the side going on Albany Avenue. So depending on the number of participants, you might be able to fill that space there.
Yes, so I did reach out to the district manager, and she provided the list of previous attendees as far as like tabling and such, and we've reached out to them with this date. So hopefully within the next coming weeks we'll start getting some RSVPs as far as which city agencies are actually able to attend.
That's great. Also to check with her to see what size t-shirts are left, because I don't know if everyone's size is there. It might
Yeah,
be
she gave me
larger sizes. I don't know. I can't remember what's left.
she gave me a list. It's we have a few men's shirts, some 2X, 1X, large, medium, small, and then women's we have 1 2X, 6 small, SL, I think that's small, 7 large, and 3 medium. Honestly, we haven't had a ton of board member participation, so I kind of feel like
Yeah, that should be enough, right?
yeah, it should cover it as opposed to us trying to like order new shirts. Um, so I think we should be okay with that. So, are there any other ideas for, things that have been at past fairs that we haven't covered or things that people would like to see at this year's health fair?
I had two other ideas. I don't know if you've ever done this before, but maybe having like a sign up sheet for an accountability partner. Because I know for me, that's one of the best things to work out or like to have somebody to go on walks with. Um, I found a partner and we did like one like good walk. I think it was about half hour maybe at a brisk pace. And it was really fun because we hit it off. And so that's always like a nice thing if you find like an exercise or accountability partner. So
Mhm.
maybe the fair could help facilitate that.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I also like signed up to do that with someone in a Facebook group. Although we've yet to actually make it happen, but I like that idea. So
And I have one other idea,
Mhm.
because I've been really on a health kick lately.
Mhm.
I read this book called Atomic Habits. It's a fantastic book, and he really talks about how it's this thing called sort of habit stacking, where you latch onto a habit that you already have. Like say, I don't know, you always eat your lunch at 1 o'clock or something like that, and then you have a habit that you attach to that habit. So then you decide like, well, I'm always going to take a walk for 15 minutes after I eat lunch. And then even you like get yourself like a piece of music that you always play at that time or something, and you create this habit and it really like makes it so you always do that every day. You always take that walk or you always do your sit-ups or whatever it is. It's really an effective way of like adjusting your behavior, whatever they call that behavior, like improving your habit structure.
Mhm.
So we could do like a little write-up if we wanted like excerpts from that book, like a one-page thing that sort of talks about how to do that just as a handout, maybe.
As a handout. Okay. I like that. I think that could be something that we incorporate into the accountability signups. Like if they're at the same table, it's here's, just some advice and also an opportunity to sign up for an accountability partner at the same time.
Yeah, I could write that up. That wouldn't take me long if you wanted like just to full excerpts from the book.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you. Um, okay, I like that. And then is everyone on this call able to attend on the 20th?
What is the time of the health fair?
I believe it's 11 a.m. I'm
To
not
what
sure.
time?
I'm not sure how long they usually go.
Hmm.
I can follow up with by email with like the exact time.
I have a meeting in the afternoon, so as long as it finishes by 3, or I have to get up by 3. Then
Okay, so we can expect you from like 10 to 3 because we're starting at 11, but would need some setup time.
uh, yeah, I can come to help.
And I don't think you have to be there the whole time either. If you can do a shift, that's fine, but it would just be helpful to know who can attend and for what period of time.
Okay, let me I'll get back to you regarding that time.
Okay, thank you.
I think I can. I'm double checking the school calendar real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And
So uh, I um, I can let you know. It happens to be spring break that week, so I I don't know yet that I can come.
Okay. Okay, so I'll follow up with email, asking, for people to just advise if they'll be able to attend and for what time. Also, I'll add in, the overall time for the event. And then I think once we have an idea of who can attend, and I'll also extend this invitation to other committees, I'll start making assignments for what we need help with on the day of. Does that sound good to everyone?
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Amazing. Thank you. Um, okay, I think that is all we need to cover today. As I said, I'm gonna send an email, and I think if we need another meeting, in between this meeting and the March meeting, I'll also, send out a call for what times people are available, just to make sure that we're keeping the planning underway so that we actually have a successful health fair. The last thing I wanted to ask was if anyone has ideas for publicizing the event, for outreach. Are there any businesses that might be willing to keep the flyer? Are there any online groups that you're active in that you think this would be helpful to push this in, just to make sure that we're sharing the information so people actually show up?
I had some ideas about maybe sharing with some local running groups,
Mm-hmm.
and um, let's see, I had some notes as well. I'm sorry, like you, Montserrat, my brain is
I understand. It's
really, and so I have 72 tabs open and obviously can't find the one I need. Uh, yeah, okay. So, and then I thought of local churches are very active in my neighborhood, so I thought maybe we could communicate with them.
okay. Great.
I did have another question, not related to this, to marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding the fitness class, is there a budget for that?
Is there a cost? We have.
I
we
don't know yet. I had the conversation with him just to set up a time to have a longer conversation with more detail, but I needed some more detail from you to know, like, is there a budget for it? And how long do you think the class should be? And just kind of fitting a few more details. Is it directed toward children or adolescents or older adults or seniors? What do we think as a group, maybe?
Got it. Ms. Reed, do you have an idea of like the typical attendance for this event? Obviously, we can reach out to try and get the attendance we want, but I'm curious, who typically shows up?
Well, if it's outside, you'll have obviously the persons who are going, who are going to, let's say, Pathmark, who will come into the shopping next door, who are going to the vendor, the the restaurants, and also too, once it's publicized to churches, or even usually if you send also to email to um the congresspersons, they usually stop by as well. So it's usually persons in the community. So as long as it's advertised, it's community board website sent to the churches, people in the neighborhood and the surrounding areas will usually attend. And usually also to having, like, having someone take blood pressure is obviously a good stop
Strong.
by, because persons always want their blood pressure checked. If you also do get someone do the finger sticks is also helpful as well. So if you're having those things, also to having giveaways as well, is always a draw as well.
Mm-hmm.
So solicit giveaways, because people are, they always want a freebie. So if you can maybe get, get I don't know if you want, if you have a budget for, maybe ordering a few, I don't know, CB17. But that's what we have got in the bags, and put, drop in there
Yeah.
the mask and stuff. Like hand sanitizers are still a draw. So once you're giving stuff away, people usually would, and then the vendors themselves also to bring freebies as well. So
Mm-hmm.
you might have at least, depending on the day, the weather, you could have a draw. Maybe you should have an attendance sheet for people to sign in as well, so you can get an idea of who's shopping at which table. it can be anywhere from 50 to 75 people. On a good day, some of you may have more depending on how many vendors show up. So,
Okay.
because you want to make, you want to make having the vendors be attractive, so having the local hospitals, maybe the insurance companies, so whatever, whoever can respond. And usually, vendors, like to showcase themselves. So I'm sure you'll have a good response because it's after the the warm weather, the spring starting. So
Okay. So I think based on that, the fitness class should probably be geared more towards adults and older adults. Marcella, and then we have the opportunity to request funds, but I have to have an idea of like what the amount is and also, what it's for before I can submit the request. Obviously if the person would be willing to donate their services gratis, that would be appreciated. But if they do have a fee, we can, figure out whether or not that's something the community board can pay for.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that is all I had for the health fair. Does anyone have anything else they want to bring up before we close? Nope. Okay, with that, does anyone move to adjourn the meeting?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you so much. Okay, the motion has been moved and seconded, and I declare this meeting ended. Thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, have a great evening.
You too. Good night.
Thank you.